How are you doing today, Nikhil?
Doing very well, Anil. Fantastic panel. Really enjoyed the insights from everyone, actually, and I hope you're doing well yourself.
Getting better, getting ready for my flight tomorrow. On to my first overseas trip to MIPCOM this year, which I look after for India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, taking a good Z's attending it, as well as India Cast is attending it, and a lot of other independent buyers and sellers are attending from India. Of course, we've got about 5,000 people from all over the world coming into Cannes. So looking forward to being there. But this is not about me or MIPCOM or whatever. This is more about OTT and connected TV advertising, which is something which has been a kind of a pet subject of ours, yours and mine also. I mean, that's why we put this together. And thank you for coming on board as a partner with us. Now, coming back again, have we managed to demystify OTV and connected TVs as a kind of a product? Has it been defined well enough through the day, or do we need more definitions to be put in?
Oh, interesting. And I think, like always, Anil, bang on with the first question. I think I've been enjoying the conversation since morning. And while in some conversations, I saw that distinction being very categorically called out, I also saw the dilution of the definitions coming across very vividly as well. I mean, one of the last questions on the previous panel, which I heard was, do you think TVs are going to fade away? And, you know, the part is this conversation is about connected TV. Connected TV is also a television, to be honest. So I think importantly, what people need to understand, and I think this is also from a consumer understanding and also from an advertiser understanding, that CTV and OTTs are absolutely two different phenomena. Now, one can be a subset of the other, but in isolation, they're operating as two different phenomena. Now, OTT, as we popularly all understand, is over the top advertising phenomena. It is predominantly the content of choice that the consumer wishes to watch. He could watch this content on a laptop. He could watch this content on his mobile. He could actually watch this content on his large screen television, which makes it his content being viewed by him at his time of choice, and hence a part of the OTT ecosystem. Now, when we talk about CTV, and I think very nicely addressed in one of your first panels of the day, where I think somebody, which I think Viraj said, two different things where you're talking about an equipment and you're talking about a publisher. I mean, the two can't have an overlap, and hence probably what happens in the advertiser's mindset is, hey, so what are you going to do on CTV? My ad is going to be in Hotstar. Hey, but I'm already advertising on Hotstar or MX or Z. And I think probably that is the starting point of the confusion creation. But what people need to understand is, I think OTT has been around for a while. It's been around 4-5 years when it really started peaking, and it started being the peak form of content. But I think post-lockdown or probably 2 years back, if you look at it, what it has restricted people at home, and people are looking at finding newer ways to engage, entertain, bond as a family, and their television sets started to become, at least linear television sets started to become quite cliched and mundane, because there is nothing much to see apart from repeated content. And then people understood, hey, why am I not using my internet on my television screens? And probably, which is also where connected TV has really taken a shape of its own, and COVID has actually played catalyst to it. So connected TV is an equipment, and connected TV is actually trying to reach an absolutely incremental base of users who have come on the ecosystem and said, you know what, we're going to enjoy our experience of OTT, or we could even enjoy your experience of playing a game. Anything that has got to do with internet. We are evolved users. We know how to use internet across various mediums, and we're going to use the large screen to watch our content of choice.
Okay. So basically, that's how you're defining the difference. But also, it needn't just be a smart TV. It could be connected via a dongle. It could be connected via STB. It could be connected via PlayStation or via an Xbox, or it could be connected via an Android set-top box.
Yeah,
that's another difference.
Your Xbox, for all you know, your PlayStation that you connect is also making your TV into a connected device. Any device which connects. I mean, and the best part, like you said, Anil, and gladly brought it up, is it's so convenient now. And we'll only stick to the India example because most of our live viewers are from India. you could get a smart TV at less than 15,000 rupees. That's thanks to a lot of the Chinese manufacturers, which have penetrated the country pretty well. So it's no longer a tier one or a metropolitan phenomena to own a smart TV. You could own a smart TV and installed at your house within 2 days in any part of the country that you're in. Your availability or accessibility to it is by click of a button and buying it online, and probably buying it at less than 15,000 rupees. Part two, internet penetration has been phenomenal. I think India enjoys one of the cheapest data plans across the world. Our cost per GB is probably one of the top three most cheapest across the world. So internet penetration is phenomenal. And then we really talk about the education and how various means of accessing various kinds of content. People also don't understand that India is the second highest app downloading country in the world. So, I mean, obviously we have the numbers on our side in terms of population, but also we are quite technology savvy, right? Most of the mobile users in India spend close to 89% of their time actually accessing direct apps versus 11% on search and discovery, which is mobile web. So probably we are an evolved set of audiences, and CTV is just following suit, right? I mean, in a recent survey done, Anil, and just touching about it before I finish my point, done via mediasmart and one of our partners, very clearly, what came out is 78% of the users who own a smart TV were actually using the internet or going through their favorite OTTs via direct applications and not via dongles. So I think that evolution is happening, because the surveys are hardly 2 or 3 months old. Hence, it's not taking into account the evolution of how they got there. But I think the more and more you explore, the more and more you become intelligent, and you start using various things, and you suddenly realize, you know what? Oh, my TV was already a smart TV, and probably I don't even need the dongle because I can access the app store. So it's an evolution of connected TV as well, and we are all happy to be a part of witnessing it.
Yeah, so the numbers are something which are pretty in terms of number of connected TV homes, etc. The numbers are mixed. Your survey said it was 6 to 8 million. I argued with you, and we said it's 10 to 12 million. And today, the numbers which they talked about were 20 to 22 million. Where does the truth lie? And the HD universe being about 44 million, which is what I think Bharat or somebody else stated that those numbers.
Yeah, I think I heard that, and I was also quite surprised, because I was looking at the TRAI data, which is stated October 2020, which is not far back from where we are, probably almost 10 months back. It said total number of wired subscribers in India, including Wi-Fi, is close to 21 million. Now, unless you're telling me that every household has a connected TV and applicably using it as well, those numbers look stark to me. And my numbers, obviously, Anil, and rightly pointed out by you, your number and my number are not very different, but my numbers probably is not the connected TV universe. It's the addressable connected TV universe, which can be used for advertising, because I am seeing bids. I am working with OTT partners. They are looking at their universe, and probably our numbers have been arrived basis those multiplicity of factors put in together. And I think it's growing. I think 6 to 8 million is what we see. Probably if we and we are going to catch up about this maybe a quarter down the line, and this number could actually be 11 to 12 million, because that's how fast the penetration is happening.
Okay, now, so why is the connected TV universe, and why is it of interest to you, and why is it relevant in a mobile-driven, video consumption-driven market like India? Let's not just talk about the COVID accelerating consumption on homes. We've heard that story so often. I'm bored shitless. So I'm bored shitless. I mean, we've heard that, but why is CTV so relevant in India? And why are we comparing what's happening in the US to what's happening in India? America was never a mobile-driven market.
Yeah,
especially for video consumption. Though TikTok may have changed that a bit in the pandemic. I'm going back to my own lame excuse of using the pandemic. But nonetheless, so why connected TV so relevant?
Oh, good question. Phenomenal question. I think let's start with what's happened and what's transpired in West, right? I think there's been a surge of connected TV consumption and habits, and the evolution did not start since pandemic. And good that you bring it up. I think the evolution has been happening. Maybe the impact of COVID has played a catalyst to increase the stakeholders' penetration on CTV and everybody's attention on it. But West probably started close to 20 years back with the Roku and Hulu, and then the Netflix coming up, and we've all read the case study of how Netflix went to sell themselves, and there were no buyers, and now they are one of the largest companies valued globally. And I think Netflix did play the revolution. I think they are one of the largest factors to really play a catalyst to the growth of it. I think that was the first decade, between probably 2000 to 2010. Between 10 to 15, it's really started to take shape. There were more publishers, there was content driven. Disney stepped in, Warner Brothers stepped in. They said, this is a good space. I think this is the evolved space. This is the internet user. And then by 15, 16, I think it really took a different revolution, right? We realized this is it, guys. OTT is where everybody is. And then by 17, 18, you started where there are users, then there is monetization and there is advertising dollars. So that started happening. But I think what 2020 did was probably said that everybody's locked at home. You know what? How do you increase your best way of entertainment? If I want to watch great content, do I need to watch it on my laptop? Do I need to watch it on my mobile? Or do I need to watch it in the best way that I can consume it, which is my large screen, right? And which is where it happened. And the best part about this is I think US has, in 2020 data, again quoting, I think the share of mobile ad impressions in terms of advertising versus the share of CTV impressions were almost the same, which really means how big CTV is. They're almost 3/4, probably what I understand, close to, it's a 14.1 billion sort of market. Nearly 3/4 of US households are now reachable via programmatic CTV advertising, and close to 64% actually TV households are having 3 or more connected TVs. So I think when you take these numerics into account, you are really saying that it's a really evolved market. And I think one of the recent surveys done in US, and I think probably by Nielsen, with media managers and media priorities, they clearly said, apart from digital and video, the only second priority that we feel is connected TV. That's how big US is. Now, moving on to India, and probably why mediasmart, why Apple's interest, because we've always been a platform which has always believed in a very strong digital ownership of the consumer journey. And I think always you must have heard that Apple as an organization talks about cost per converted user. We talked about verticalization approaches. So for us at mediasmart, being a global programmatic DSP, we just felt connected TV as a space that we need to be, because it is a digital platform. Anything digital, we should have a share of voice there. But I think what we did interesting was we also realized that if you are, and you yourself brought it up so many times, but there's not really a perfect answer, that could this just be a one isolated medium where you put your ads and then you don't know what happens, and then you're really not able to map your journey. The problem that everybody was anyway struggling with TV and mobile, what's happening on two sides of the platform. What mediasmart did is it took a step ahead, and it said, you know what, we're going to create a system called connected TV and household sync. For every ad that you show on the large screen, which is experience led, you can't click there. I mean, you can never track a user interaction. The best case scenario is you do a BLI or a very small set of respondents and come back and say it was successful. There's one step better. Why don't you show the ad to the user who saw your ad on television, 100% you saw your ad on television, and target the household which saw the ad to every mobile in that household. Let's see the reaction there. If your completion rates are amazing on television, which anyways they are going to be because the user doesn't have a choice, it's a pre-roll or a mid-roll in most cases. What do you get when you show the same ad on his mobile screen? Are your completion rates going down? Are your engagement rates going up? Is he just closing the ad? Now he has the power. You're giving the power in the hand of the consumer. And at the end of the day, why do you do advertising? You do advertising to get to the end funnel, irrespective of the vertical that you're a part of. And what CTV Household Sync does is it empowers the advertisers to really get an immediate action-oriented feedback on what your brand impact actually has been. You get a two-step methodology of seeing your completion rates, great experience, storytelling on mobile, engagement, interaction, funnel, even if it's bad, doesn't matter. One of our largest OEM manufacturers who worked with us on CTV household advertising, they ran an ad on CTV, great completion rates, 90%, we all applauded. But then when we saw the completion rates on mobile, Anil, they were less than 55%, and they were getting all alarmed. But then we really looked at the data, which was CTRs, which is engagement rate, click-through rates. And we realized, wow, this is 2.31. That means everybody is going and actually buying your smartphone. So they actually liked your ad. So their sales are actually increasing. So I think closing the funnel is what we are doing here. And that's been our interest. And we're quite happy to and content to be growing in this space and leading the thought leadership here.
So what kind of partnerships do you have in place to be able to complete the funnel?
I think at the end of the day, we are a programmatic ecosystem. We have phenomenal partnerships with some of the top OTTs in the country. We are doing extremely well. We are connected to all the SSPs. We are connected to 32 exchanges, top exchanges across the globe. So we have access to pretty much every inventory that you have. If you are a connected TV user, we're going to find you in a certain way, and we're going to make sure that that ad is put on your large screen. What will be interesting to observe is CTV is not just OTT, and I think we started this conversation with that. CTV is also seeing some part of gaming, right? There is a gaming audience, very small, but there is a live news audience, growing, small but growing, right? And what CTV is also evolving, like somebody else was bringing up in the previous panel is, and I think it was Neil, I think CTV is going back to how TV is consumed. There is no loyalty, okay? It started with saying that if I will watch certain Netflix or probably Amazon Prime. I started with that and then Hotstar. But when we did a survey, we realized, yes, these three are the top priorities in our survey, but we also realized 70% of the audience is also watching Alt Balaji and MX and Z5 and the Hoi Choice. So people are eventually moving on the CTV side of the world, also across vernacular applications, vernacular OTT, also their primetime OTT, also secondary OTTs which are growing. So I think that's the evolutionary ecosystem of CTV.
Okay, so any impressive case studies you've kind of achieved using your?
Absolutely. Why don't I just show you one? In fact, talking about it, if I can share my screen. Can I share my screen, guys?
Please, I hope so.
Okay, let me see if that's working. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Let me just try it once again.
Not a problem. It's okay. So while you're making it work, I've got a question from Dr. Shibu Nair, which we'll answer later. You can play this, the case study.
Love to watch my screen now?
The question. Yeah, we can see it.
Just with lockdown enforced in India for over a year, content viewing was reaching saturation levels with cliched one-dimensional series. Discovery Plus was ready to bring in a fresh perspective. They brought innovation with fresh content and programming and innovated the way they used media to communicate that. 2020, Discovery Plus launched a curated video streaming service in India for a wholesome family experience. They needed help to scale their reach on brand awareness and engagement with the right set of users. Discovery Plus leveraged mediasmart connected TV and household sync technology. They drove awareness by targeting new age premium audiences who were consuming on-demand content on large screens, and then drove engagement by retargeting those users in the same household on their mobile devices to derive an action. mediasmart's tech was fundamental in identifying and researching those audiences across well-known OTTs and entertainment channels on CTV and multiple apps on mobile devices. To drive engagement to new levels, these high-intent users were programmatically served video ads over connected TV. After showing ads on TV, mediasmart's household sync technology retargeted users on their mobile devices, nudging them to take an action, transforming non-interactive linear TV advertising into more measurable and interactive connected TV advertising. mediasmart's tech innovation created a multi-layered full-funnel campaign that created both awareness with CTV and induced action over mobile devices. More than 1.3 million plus impressions over connected TV and mobile. The campaign drove phenomenal awareness on connected TVs, thereby driving 86% plus on video completion rates. and equally impactful engagement, driving 1.05% plus CTR on connected devices via retargeting. During the campaign period, not only did the organic searches on the brand peak, but also the App Store's ranking on iOS and Android Play Store jumped up by 23% and 33% respectively. Discovery Plus drove phenomenal experience on brand messaging and great adoption via household syncing, making this a super impactful campaign.
Congratulations. I'm sure Meghna, Tata and company would have been, and as well as Azmat would have been very happy with this.
Yes,
As well as Sean.
they were actually quite happy, because I think when people talk about brand advertising, I think we still live in an era where brand and performance advertising are looked with very different lenses, right? And now here is a technology which not only puts your brand advertising on the largest screen possible, but is also able to drive mid and bottom funnel conversations or conversions for your brand while they are addressing big screen advertising. So, I mean, if you had to pack it for somebody as a media decision maker or a CMO, this is the best case scenario that, hey, my great experience on large screen drove a conversation and drove a conversion on my small screen. Impact given, perfect, bang on, let's move on, let's do the next one. The base is small though, but I think the impact is very high.
So did you all use ACR for this, or what was it?
Sorry?
Did you all use automatic content recognition to synchronize, or what was the tech that was used behind
The
it?
tech is, I think, very interesting. I think what we do is usually when an ad is served on connected TV, we understand the IP address of the user or IP address of that device, and probably any other mobiles that are on the same IP address are used for synchronization, which is called the household sync synchronization. So what we usually do from a methodology is, for one CTV user, we usually probably assume that there are close to 3 to 4 people within the same household, and that's how we operate the technology.
Yeah, and these people have opted into this for the product, or?
Yeah. So I think what's interesting, and it's a good question actually, Anil, right? While on the targeting of connected TVs, yes, this is accurate. You can do where you want to do. You can optimize great advertising solutions. You can do QR codes. You can probably 65 minutes to wrap. Sorry, I think
that is something. No, 6 to 5, 5 to 6 minutes. She means.
Okay, so I think I thought that's a long time to wrap it up, but probably I think.
But going by you, we going by the way you can speak, and I can question you. We can speak for another hour, but we make Ru Edvirara, who's another fabulous technologist, wait for a long time.
Oh no, I think we have got some good friends waiting in the pipeline,
Yeah.
and I also saw them, so it'll be interesting. But I think going back to the tech, I think the tech is unique. The tech is ours. I heard a fellow panelist in the previous forum saying that they will get there, and they're pretty large. And they will get there, but the technology already exists with us, and we are seeing a large scale of advertisers across verticals. And whether you're an app advertiser, you are a digital first advertiser, I think everybody probably has become at least 2-fold smarter during the lockdown to become more digitally savvy, and they understand a large part of their business will be driven via conversions or probably digitally led metrics, and which is where probably I think the brand led of advertising with mid-funnel, top, bottom funnel conversations and conversions really comes into play.
Okay. So now, are you getting traction for this? You said there is some interest. You've done some executed campaigns for Discovery Plus. And how many other such campaigns have you executed? Or are there many in the fray? Is it hundreds? Is it thousands? Is it tens?
I think it's reaching its 3-digit numbers, to be honest.
Okay.
Anil, I think it's a space that we wanted to be a part of. It's a space that we wanted to lead. We love being a programmatic-led CTV platform, and I think and which is where we are seeing a lot of interest as well, thanks to partners like yourself who are bringing connected TV to the foray. Although understanding it's small, it's not well understood, but seeing phenomenal, great business leaders, thought leaders coming in, sharing their POVs, their apprehensions, their myths about connected TV. So I think it's a very important part of our business, not only globally, but also for India and Southeast Asia, because this business, this overall CTV space is also growing 2 digits, right? It's growing double digits month over month, and it's not taken a backseat irrespective of any reasons, whether in terms of user growth, whether in terms of advertising penetration, or whether in terms of overall reach that we are growing month over month.
Yeah, the numbers they talked about was about 120 million CTVs in the next three to 5 years, which is like, I mean, it's massive. It's massive means it's massive.
Earlier you also brought up that, it's a very good thing that Anil, you brought up that not only those that will probably become the new CTV users, like the cord cutters or the cord nevers, and probably what's good to understand for people is that cord cutters is what everybody talks about. What nobody's talking about is cord nevers. These guys were supposed to be the new earning guys who got their first job. They went and they're supposed to buy the TV, they get a cable connection and start watching, add to the DTH base. Sorry, they never went there. They just bought a smart TV and they started becoming a connected TV user. And I think those large base of consumers are really adding to the base of an overall CTVs. And I think also you brought up that there is this huge, in India especially, this bunch of box TV users, right? I mean, that base we are not even putting into consideration that will convert into a smart TV user. There is no TV which is a non-smart TV now, right? The only difference...
There are still about 90 million TVs which are non-smart. Minimum 90 million.
I hope at least none of the ones getting produced.
No, sorry. There's a 90 million universe which doesn't have a TV set. It still has to get a TV set. And there are about 140, 150 million, out of which about, let's say, 25 million have converted to smart TVs. My numbers may be off, but going by the connected TV figures, let's say there are 40, 45 HD, 50 million smart TVs, out of which 22 million, going by the numbers I said earlier, have converted to connected TVs. So we still have a long runway. Yeah, so 90 million you have to migrate towards televisions, take a smart TV or take a connected TV.
Yeah, I think
it can be converted.
I think if I always leave this decision of how many connected TVs are there to actually OTTs, and they are the best guys who know this knowledge, actually, to be really honest. I mean, if you have a connected TV, either it's us guys who know active bid requests that are coming from ads and equipments, which will give us a fair perspective, or it's the OTTs which are seeing a significant chunk of their consumption of their content from not mobile devices, which are recognized by device IDs, but from connected TV, which are actually tagged as separate IDs. So I think there can always be a speculation, but we feel, I think it's somewhere between that 6 to 10 million, at least for now. I think 20 million is it's a great. I mean, if it's that, then it's great. I mean, more scope for us to grow.
Absolutely. So, in terms of the outreach towards the community, how strong is that going to be in the next 6 months for you? What kind of pickups do you expect?
I think like I said, I think the markets are going to grow. And
I'm specifically talking about your company.
mediasmart. So I think mediasmart will continue to sort of build our momentum on connected TV and household sync. I think it's important for a lot of advertisers to still get educated on the technology itself and then what household sync can bring. You can actually, with household sync, you can drive people to a store as well, right? As long as you are syncing your ads to a mobile ID, and if you understand the mobile ad ID of a user, then there are so many use cases that you open up, right? Whether it's a drive to store, whether it's a certain kind of targeting, whether it's a certain kind of negative targeting, retargeting, blacklisting, whitelisting, and the list can go on, right? So as long as you map the footfall or you map the user journey on mobile versus a large screen, there is so many use cases, and that's where we want to build further. I think in terms of our innovations going forward, in terms of our R&D, in terms of our product and tech, on the back end, we are building the best tech experience in terms of serving ads. We are doing the best to get more and more partnerships on our side of the table. And obviously, we will continue to become the most transparent, ad fraud-free platform for our consumers as well as advertisers.
Yeah. So what kind of do you go on a retainer kind of a partnership with brands, or is it success fee led, or is it a commission structure?
So mediasmart, like I said, is a programmatic DSP, and we work with all our partners, including agencies, our direct advertisers. And in terms of our business model within India and Asia, there are two ways that we are working. One is on a pure self-serve licensing model where you can sign up on our DSP. It's super convenient. We will educate you and make you programmatically enabled. Programmatic is anyways the future. Probably that's another reckoning for everyone. The other way that we also understand the business is that the enablement or the adoption of programmatic is a gradual and a slow process. So we also have direct buys on the platform where you can use a lot of our products across proximity marketing or connected TV, or even the Affle DMP that is connected to the MediaSmart DSP to really do your targeting and derive the best outcomes for your campaigns.
All right. Thank you very much. There's a question which is saying that, one second, I just want you to answer this. This is coming from Shibu Nair. I don't know if you're the right person. Is Netflix taking product placement advertisements? I don't know if you're having any conversations on that.
I think Netflix is, as a model, we all understand, has always taken pride on them being advertising free. And I think not that I know of any changes in that core philosophy of Netflix. They will continue to do that. I think product placements, and I think it's an interesting question. I'll tell you why not so simple is because there are interesting ways that have been actually experimented in the past across OTTs, and especially some platforms which refuse advertising of product placements. They will tie up with the, and this is a very old way as well. I mean, I'm ex-Puma, so we could put our ads in the best movies, and that's one way of product placement. So if that's the question, probably that's happening with the producers, and Netflix has some part to play in it, but I'm not the expert. In terms of direct advertising on digital, I don't see any conversations happening there yet. There are subscription-based model, which they enjoy the experience of users ahead of advertising.